A very, very friendly and, a lot of fun and banter are, coming your way right now as we sit down to speak to Sid Paul, the very handsome and always charming Sid Paul, who has so much of good music up his sleeve every time, but there's also so much of warmth to the person. Hi, Sid. Welcome to On VJ's playlist. Firstly, we've been, meaning to make this happen, and I'm so happy to be finally sitting down with you for a very, very unhinged and, maybe no holds barred chat. But thank you so much for doing this. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vijay, for having me. I'm really happy to be on the show. And yes, a lot of banter and fun times. You can't even call this a show. It's more like two friends catching up and just talking about music things by the side. So, yes.
Thank you for taking the time out, Sid. And we have to begin by discussing this really viral hit that is now taking over our Instagram feeds, at least my Instagram feed for sure, which is Gale Lag Ja. This beautiful song that you have created alongside the likes of Shilpa Rao and Lakshit. Firstly, how do you look at that? Suddenly there is a certain discoverability also to the song that's happening. And a lot of people are incorporating them, when they are making content on the internet. Like somebody is using it for a get ready with me video, somebody is using it for a travel video. But how do you just, process the feeling that something that you made in, within your limited confines finds so many diverse interpretations to it?
It feels great. I mean, if so, it just speaks volumes in terms of, okay, one song can be relatable to every scenario, aspect, or a human. It's not, so you might make the song. While you're making the song, you might think, okay, मैंने इस mood के लिए बनाया या इस शख्स के लिए बनाया या for this particular feeling. But then you realize people use your song, and I'm not just speaking of my song, any song they use for different contexts and different purposes. At the end of the day, I think the fundamental that lies here is that they vibe with the song. So your definition of vibe and my definition of vibing can be totally different, and
Yeah.
it's good to see different outputs with the song getting used. So yeah, it's fun.
But there's a certain amount of overwhelming feeling that uh, things on social media can cause. Like sometimes it gives you perspective to, actually look at things from a certain way, which is opposite to how you were looking at it. Sometimes it can also feel pretty misleading. Like it can be, a sort of a bubble that, completely, restricts you from wanting to see a completely newer dimension to your art. Sid, for those who are watching, Sid is a composer, a producer, and a singer-songwriter also. Sid, for you, what does social media reception mean to you, especially when you are sampling different tunes? Because you also compose independent singles and produce independent singles, but you're also working on for a lot of shows, The Logical, Crushed, Dil Dosti, to begin with. How does a producer in your capacity adapt to what is being consumed by the audience, but at the same time also find the courage to put out something of his liking?
Got it. uh, in this, you know when you work for commercial shows, right, there's a script that is being there and there's a vision, and someone else is driving the ship, and you are accompanying them and helping them out to figure out which way to go. But yet there is another, the captain, that can be the director. Most probably they have a vision, and you're serving to that vision, and accordingly you make something. And what happens is, I wouldn't say that every time it's restrictive, like you're not able to do what you have to do. Eventually, whatever the scenarios, you have to put your foot down, key, listen, this will work for certain things. But then what happens is the director also enhances our vision, and in a way, then I also get to learn, and I also get to, explore further ideas and further soundscape. So that happens, and at times it's like, okay, you're serving a particular trend. It's a trend ke liye to bana lo. So that I'm fine with it. At the end of the day, as long as it's music, so it's fine with me. And when it comes
Okay.
to releasing stuff independently, at the end of the day, see, you cannot hide the fact that it's all business. To, at the end of the day, even if it's independent or something, you what you want. Acha, if you, agar मैं business बोलूंगा, and I might just be, saying it's about money. No, I will say like even an independent musician wants him or himself or herself to be heard, right? So now the avenue is social media. पहले क्या था? Club gigs थे या फिर live performance था. Now that has translated to social media numbers, yeah, social media content, your reach and everything. So I agree that you have to have a set vision and says, okay, this is my sound and this is what I want to follow. But
Yeah.
fundamentally coming back, like there has to be some substance that, call it recall value, call it, a hummable melody or something, in terms of dressing. So the production can be called as the dressing. It's going. I won't say trend. It's going
Yeah.
with the current sound. Like I can't use dated, sound and be like, okay, this is what it is. I mean, if even if you do, even if your song, an independent song, it doesn't have a 4/4 structure, or it's quite a, what do you say, it's quite a journey in terms of the graph, the way it's moving. It's not like a chorus, pre-chorus, mukhda wala structure, even if it's not that.
Yeah.
But at least the जो सजावट है वगैरह वो तो मॉडर्न होगी ना.
Mm.
अगर आप ओल्ड स्कूल भी करोगे पर वो टेस्टी ओल्ड स्कूल होगा ना.
Correct.
So all these things matter, and I'm okay with doing that also, and I'm okay with doing this also. And what happens is at the end of the day, subconsciously you're driven by कि अच्छा, what is going to happen with the song.
Mm.
Even if you release an independent song, so you have to be very clear. Like I'm very clear कि if I release a song independently also, I like it to be reaching to people,
Right.
even if it's through advertising or call it collaborations, campaigns and all that. At the end of the day, my song has to be great,
Yeah.
and then these are the mediums of advertising. Now it's up. Now मैंने ये सारे medium choose किए and मैंने इसको advertise किया, and now it's up to the audience. At the end of the day, they have all the power to reject or accept it. So yes, agreed. You should put out what you feel like. Because the thing is, there are two things over here. Like I feel like putting out something which is what I want to express, and yet it has a commercial angle in the sense it's
Right.
people can understand it. So this is what I believe in. But now if I would have been like, okay, I like to put out jazz numbers, and maybe it has a niche market and all that. But if I'm happy and thoroughly enjoying it, then great.
Correct.
But I can't be in the middle where I am putting out, basic, like a jazz number or something, and then I'm expecting it to blow up. I mean,
Mm.
I'll have to realistically also analyze, right, what you're looking at. Because then I can't be, uh, sad about it or harsh about it. Oh, no one listens to it. I mean, everything is serving a purpose. So yeah, but at the end of the day, you have to thoroughly believe that is true. This I've realized ki even while I was making the song, there was a certain point where I said, okay, this is the sound that needs to go, and please let's keep this melody. Let's we need to get through this, and that is something you intuitively feel it. Okay, it needs to be done. Then it just transcends into I like through your the way you put it out, it transcends to the other person also, and they also catch a frequency and like, okay, yeah, let's go with it.
But I mean, if I have to add another, just perspective to this discussion, say how as a composer or how as a producer does and an artist tailor their needs. Because
Hmm.
when you said business, I understood that it's not about the money; it's about the trends. It is about also somewhere flowing through the through the flow. I mean, not just flowing through the whole trend, like riding the wave also is something that a lot of people also somewhere tend to do, because there are certain people, in positions of power
Mm.
who are observing the workings of music in general, and are also in a position to, dole out that kind of advice and, give that kind of direction. So I have also, in my personal interactions with certain artists, I've also learned that a certain narrative that is being fed is, if you're, you know, that the algorithms, across music streaming platforms somewhere picks up on music that falls somewhere, or, sounds somewhere which has some alike quality with a song that is already trending. So it tends to, sort of push somewhere that release forward, in comparison to a composition which sounds extremely out of the ordinary. So my perspective here is, or where I'm trying to get at, is how does an artist in today's day and age, which is extremely competitive, how do they tailor their, how do they meet the demand with what they have to offer?
So this question, are you asking for independent artists, or are you asking for people who are doing commercial work?
I'm asking him
What's this?
actually, when it comes, when if I'm being specific, I'm asking for independent artists, because there are enough independent artists right now who want to pretty much, stay their idealistic selves, but they're also, somewhere craving for, the mainstream validation. So what would you tell people who are somewhere, in that gray space?
Got it. I mean, I believe there has to be a healthy balance,
Yeah.
of being a little idealistic and, and also trying to figure out what you want to. So I don't know about how the algorithm works, honestly. I didn't even know if there's a song trending. So if you make something according to that, the algorithm pushes. I have no clue on that. What At the end of the day, let's just break down everything. At the end of the day, what really stays is a melody, a great melody, and with that, a great singer, and some good, meaningful lyrics. Because in today's time, I've seen this a lot of, even the Gen Zs, even the 15 to 30 year, 25-year-old bracket and all that, the youngsters also, if you look at it, they all listen to the lyrics. I mean, they thoroughly enjoy it, they thoroughly sing it, and they try to understand, analyze what, the author is trying to say. So, uh, I I feel that, at the end of the day, your music can, break through. Maybe आज नहीं होगा, eventually हो जाएगा. But I also believe this, that breakthrough can only happen if you thoroughly believe it. It can't be like today you believe, okay, ठीक है, I'll be a global superstar and all that, and 10 people have told you over the course of 1 year that no, 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 and then you have made their opinion yours. So the goal is, you might not know when you might end up breaking out and all that, but if you stay true to that, irrespective of what the outside noise is, then it will break out. I thoroughly believe this. And what happens is, because of social media, it's like, okay, earlier time where there was no social media and all that, everyone was sticking to their work, right? They were focused on that. Maybe हम सिर्फ शायद वीकेंड्स को गप्पे मारते थे या गॉसिप करते थे, तो हमको पता चलता था सामने वाला क्या कर रहा है, पड़ोस वाला क्या कर रहा है, एंड ऑल दैट. आई एम नॉट even talking about my generation, I'm talking about previous generation.
Yeah.
अभी क्या हो रहा है, it's on your fingertips, right? Who's doing what and all that. So you're feeding it to yourself, okay, ठीक है, I have nothing, FOMO and all that, or stuff like that. So I believe, like, legit believe this. I thoroughly believe this in day one, that I have no competition. I don't look at it like that. I really go with, like, full tunnel vision. Okay, this is what I have to do. And having said that, I'm not saying कि I'm some saintly figure that I figured this is what I am. I have those days where I'm like, okay, are the numbers being met? So all that happens, but my core self is like, you just believing in what you want to put out. Plus, having it is important, like believing in what you want to put out, plus having a little bit of, catering towards the audience, that what they want. And sometimes maybe the audience doesn't know what they want. They're just being fed. Even that is there.
Yeah, that's true.
And you never know what can work. But what will definitely work is if you thoroughly believe it in, like, call it delusional belief, or, just thoroughly believing in your stuff, and then eventually it'll find its way. It will.
So, Sid, if I have to ask you, like, what are the challenges today for the average producer out there? Because there is, uh, you know, there are the challenges of AI somewhere coming into the picture. Like sampling has been something that has been discussed about and debated,
Mm.
in on so many different platforms. But if I have to ask you from a very lay perspective as to what exactly are the deliberations that go on at the back of the mind of a producer when he has to sit down and give life to a song that has been written, and how does he get the singer to
Mm.
deliver vocals on every written word? How do you just bring in all the elements together? But what are the challenges that lie in this process?
Okay. So, are you talking about challenges based on, like, specifically related to AI?
No, not with AI, just in general with production and composition.
Mhm. So, how I work is I'll have a melody. I'm a composer first. So, I'll have a melody that could have been made by either, it came to me in the head and I just started humming on it. And then I laid down the production. Or maybe I've had some production idea and on that I made a melody. It can be any which way. Or just I was strumming the guitar or just playing the piano and something came up. These are the scenarios that a melody is coming. Or the other scenario is the lyrics are already written and then you made a melody on it. So I get the melody. Usually it's like I compose a melody with gibberish words and then I give it to the writer. If I'm writing, I'll write a bit of it, but mostly I have a lyricist who writes it. They write it and then you get a singer on board. And now it depends, who do you wish to look at it. Now everything, if you're looking from an independent perspective, if you can sing great enough, or you get collaborators on board and all that. So challenges, honestly, like it's very hard for me to tell you what are the challenges, because now the challenges can be another thing. Now, the only challenge I know, if you're not good at what you do, then obviously it's a big challenge. How do you figure out? So I get it for singer songwriters. If they're just singers and songwriters, they will need a producer on board. And now that producer can come either on a commission basis, or on a collaborative basis. But I get it. Like, the basic challenges, if I have to give a generic perspective on it, then it can be like, getting to a studio, or getting you want if you want a branded singer, then getting them on collaborations without funding on it and all that. All Getting a lyricist if you can't write. But I totally believe that an artist should equip themselves with enough things, like, they should be able to produce in today's time, because it's not a time of, oh, you can just be a singer and deal with it. You might uh, wing your way through it, but it's good if the singer knows how to compose, the singer knows how to produce also, even if it's basic production. Because कल चल के वो basic पे, when they'll give it to the producer, the सामने वाला producer won't dupe them or be like, okay, this is what it is.
Mm.
It has to be a 360 degree involvement, ki what you're
Yeah.
doing and all that, because you're speaking of music. And then I think that the only challenges that you'll find is if you're not legit working on your craft every day, then that is something that you'll have to be like, okay, what am I doing? Because you might say ki, and this argument always happens in the music community. Or this X person is blowing up, hardly talented. This person is less talented than me. Why is he or she blowing? And I don't get that argument. I mean, like, you are no one to, say ki, why is this one is there? People are connecting to it. तो आप अपने पे focus करो, and it's like कि, but there are also, at the end of the day, what matters is, are you working on your craft and are you updating yourself every day or not? And then धीरे धीरे ना all the lines and roads they all connect. I believe
Correct.
that.
Right.
And I'm just saying, I'm not here to philosophically say anything. I'm just saying based on experience. Because I
Right.
remember I used to before I was a full-fledged composer. I used to play guitars for all the Bollywood acts and all that. Then when I started composing, I needed a producer. Now the producer is not always available for demos and all that. Then
Mm.
I was like, okay, screw this. I'll figure how to produce. And it's like if you have a will and if you have a vision, you just end up doing things. And yeah, be patient about it.
But is it hard, Sid, to keep yourself away from it, that you know that things are happening before you, like you said, I completely got it when you said that you're not coming from a very philosophical place when you speak about not letting all these
Mhm.
things sort of cloud your mind and somewhere hinder your process.
Yeah.
But I just want to know that is it possible actually to be completely aloof and completely like put your blinkers on when actually sometimes what you are seeing before you, like there is sometimes a certain amount of disparity, or you see some amount of unfairness, or you see that uh while it's pretty valid that yeah, like we can't subject as to like we can't be questioning somebody's merit basis on just because that person is receiving more reception in comparison to yourself. But even if one has to just look at it objectively, and they can clearly see that the person who is being more received does not necessarily have their technicalities in place, but still there is a reception just on the basis of connect, just on the basis of them being marketed more than uh other artists. So how does one remain aloof from all of this basis on your personal experience?
So I get it. Like in today's time, when everything is on your platter and like on your fingertips, you're seeing everyone's success or their numbers and all. You're like, okay, what am I
Yeah.
doing? That can happen. What I thoroughly believe is that there's room for everyone. I mean, it comes down to the scarcity and abundance mindset game also in some ways. So more than now, this is not about music anymore. It's about psychologically how well equipped you are. Like what your how strong your subconscious is. All these things really matter. Legit, like having a thick skin, they do matter. Because okay, you're a musician, great, you've come here and all that. But at the end of the day, you also need certain these psychological tools to get through things. And whoever like people who in an artist perspective they've made it. Most of the people I've come across, they are the ones who are always cheering, or encouraging you to win, or they're not. I've legit, or maybe I've not interacted with them enough or whatever, but their vibe, the first vibe I've got it. Okay, oh great, oh this artist that great, great, great. So someone who's winning is not going to put anyone down. That is one thing.
Correct.
And secondly, I know when you're starting up, you'll have इतने ख्वाहिशें लेके हाँ आज ही हो जाएगा कल चल के मैं स्टार बन जाऊंगा and then you're like oh shit ये है ये and then you get scared like so much beat and all that. But what will cut through the noise is legit great talent, like great skills. You cannot take away skills.
Yeah.
I mean, a person who might have less certain talent, but they might be great at something else. They might be able great at selling. So that's why there are people who are funding them. So something is working, na. So you pick what you're great at, and you just 1000x it, and then move ahead. So I know it gets
So
difficult. Yeah.
would you suggest that people need to just manage their expectations, especially artists, when they are navigating through the space?
Yeah, like be delusional and in what you want to achieve, and definitely dream big and aim high. Sky's the limit and all of that. Understood. And but be present with your current reality also. So, and when I say that, I'm not saying, for example, if you're not a brand yet as a singer, and you're like, I'll charge 10 lakhs a song. You get it. You want to aim that and all that, but you have to also see your current reality and all that. So, so, I think apart from musical skills, one needs to be equipped with, great psychological uh, weapons. Because I thoroughly believe that a musician is as like an artist is an equivalent of a startup. So, both have to cash burn, both have to brand themselves, both have to, keep moving ahead and all that. And and that way, an artist, if they can think on a entrepreneurial way, it can help them navigate and get through things. Because I get it, so a lot of artists are purists, they just want to focus on this and all that, and a lot of successful artists also are purists and all that. But at the end of the day, you have to figure it out, ki what works for you. If being a great talented artist and selling works for you, do that. But if being a average artist and selling works for you, do that. Then legit no right or wrong. What works for you should work for me. Like even now, if I'm just sharing out of experience, but I'll tell the audience ki don't take this on, as the ultimate truth. You can get nuances out of it, but at the end of the day, what works for you? Fundamentally, okay, what works for you, just figure that out and you can move ahead. And have your days of ruminating or being cribbing or resentful. Have that, go through it and then move ahead.
I think this whole deliberation between music and marketing, is actually a never-ending debate, which will have, involve a lot of, you know, dif diverse perspectives and, viewpoints. But
Hmm.
coming to the lighter aspects, Sid, with Gale, you mark on a very beautiful collaboration with the likes of Shilpa Rao and Lakshmi. You've had the opportunity of collaborating previously with the likes of Shasha Tirupati, with Abhay Jodhpurkar, with Akanksha Bhandari and Akanksha Sethi, and
Yes.
a plethora of artists. And I want to understand is what is your expectation from um, a vocalist, or from a singer who's working with you, irrespective of, what schools they come from. Like I feel that now in the current day and age, that in my humble opinion, that is that there is no such thing as, acha ye independent singer hai, ye mainstream singer hai. I think those lines are blurred considerably given in the recent years where we have seen more collaborations happen. There
Yeah,
is a
true.
sense of, what, even them wanting to seek newer, even the seemingly established mainstream artists, they want a sense of newness in their work and their process, or they want to see what are, they want to keep up with evolution, with changing times. And you also see independent artists, going chasing that mainstream creds, not because they just want the perks that come with it, but also it helps them expand their horizons. So there's so much of uh, like a cross connection of energies over there. But leaving that aside, I what I want to ask you is, what is your core expectation when you're approaching an artist, a vocalist, or if they approach you for a collaboration?
Vijay, my expectation from any artist is that, how quick and good they are. Like if you are trying to collaborate with anyone, your, you know, thought will be okay, they sound a certain way. So are they actually, gonna deliver accordingly? If I go and what happens is if you know a person who might not be good at A skill, but they're great at B skill. So I'll go with that expectation, okay, I need to take out the B out of it. Then I won't be like, okay, are they quick or not? My basic expectation is usually, okay, are they quick or not? And all the artists that you mentioned whom I've collaborated with, they all are great at what they do. And you people might think okay, it's always the marketing hype or this, that, and all that. But at the end of the day, it's not always that. There are, these people are really great at what they do, and it helps, to translate what I have in my head. through their voices and all of that. Or be it lyricists also, like for example, Agale Lagja also. When Anvita that she's written it, she's written the lyrics for it. She was so quick on it, like it's as if it just came as a breeze. It just happened. So you know the skill set, you know what they have done, why they do what they do, and or why they are there at certain levels. So that
Yeah,
also helps. And if I know this person is if certain person I'm just going for the purpose of branding and collaboration, then I will go with that expectation. So there are all kinds of expectations that you put forward. But yeah, and
yeah,
apart from that, I like to work with good energy and a good person, like uh good vibes, because I believed in catering to them, making them comfortable, and I so believe that even they should give that to them. And you can have like a lot. I'm sure a lot of young upcoming musicians watching, they might be like, but if you collaborate bigger names, how are they and all that? You'll always have this thing, na, ki, "Arey, will they, give the time? Will they do this? How can I?" Because I remember the first major artist that I worked with. I think, yeah, once I was recording Salim Merchant, and it's like, ki, okay, how can I tell him, please, can you sing it this way and all that? It comes in your head as a fan growing up and all that.
mhm,
But the thing is, that person made you comfortable. He's like, you tell me what you want, I'll give it to you.
yeah,
He's like, you're the boss. It's your song.
mhm,
So making each other comfortable, and I don't like cunning people.
mhm.
Like, you can be straight with me, you can talk business, everything great. But I don't like, at face value it's something else and behind the back it's something else. I Be straight with me.
I need to ask you this, Sid. In that case, how does one figure intent? Because, like you rightly said, like, please speak, please feel free to speak numbers and, give me the stats, give me the information that,
Mm,
which so much of it is still, so much of it is unclear. Some of it are distorted. Some of it are like, either borrowed but like there's still, when it comes to information, there is a lack of clarity for artists, for the
mm,
community in general. But like you
mm,
said, how does one figure intent? Because you're working with like every industry, it has, a fair share
mm.
of, where you will meet like-minded people, but you will also meet a lot of willy people too. So how does
Yeah.
one figure intent in such scenarios? And just basis on the what you spoke about, Salim sir, right now, when you are working with people who have relatively been in the industry
Mm,
for much longer, and they're senior to you, they are also very experienced. How, as like you spoke about your hesitation to put your viewpoint before Salim, but uh, with Salim sir, my bad. What I want to ask is, how does um, one bring themselves to that stage? Because this, in processes and collaborations where communication is key, so much of it also hinges upon how do you communicate your concerns, you know,
correct.
negative or the positive, without coming across as a disrespectful to the opposing person's position, but also at the same time maintaining objectivity. Because it's very easy also to get carried away in the presence of somebody relatively more popular and much more senior to you. So, how is that space for you?
So that's when you remind yourself, ki, you've come this far through your talent and, through your skill set. So if you're confident in your skill set, right, that gives you an extra push and edge to get through that moment of being starstruck or being, scared. Okay, how do I speak to this person? And
Mm,
that's one of the thing that's for you to think, look out onto it. Second is, uh, you come like they'll make you comfortable,
yeah.
and that also helps externally if you look at it that way. And yeah, see, if you yourself are a cunning people, you're going to attract all kind of cunning people around you. So as long as you keep core, your, when we speak of soul and all that, you keep it clean in the sense. I'm not saying black and white clean, but you, आप धंधा करो कुछ भी करो, but you're not here to steal someone's work or किसी का हक छीनना, वो सब नहीं कर रहे, and you're just purely there for the intent. Then you transcend that, and even the person in front of you also figures that out. Yeah, and if for someone who's like I was hesitant at that time, the way I reminded myself is, okay, listen, he's singing this song not out of some money perspective or something. He he like you also believes in it,
Yeah.
and like he's giving you the time because he believes in it and he loves it. So reminding you that validation, give it to yourself, and all of these things. And it's like, it's with time it just gets better. Then you just become normal. Then now it's not, now like when I met Shilpa, for Agale Lagja also, in my head it was not like, I know what a brand she is and I know what she's achieved. Like, she is India's topmost female singers. And we all know what blockbusters she's given. Everything is there. But in my head, I wasn't, going like today's state. I wasn't going with the intention like, oh, how do I tell her and all that. It was very like, okay, I have a certain value to add. She also has a certain value to add, and respect it. The goal is, if you speak to people nicely, like with genuine niceness and kindness, they also reciprocate. If you're going to be over
Yeah.
there, so what happens? Because you're scared, you might get insecure and you try to be a little overconfident and cocky. And then
Mhm.
people, get through it. Okay, they figure it out. They're
Yeah.
just being cocky and all. So don't do that. Just be nice. Yeah, that helps.
So, in your opinion, as per your opinion, Sid, if I have to ask, what are the do's and don'ts that you would suggest people taking the route of composition and production today must keep in mind? What are the immediate tips and tricks that come to your
Damn, I haven't thought about it. ऐसे बैठ के कि do's and don'ts क्या होते हैं. Quickly that comes in my mind first is do's for sure. Learn your craft, get training if you have to, but get the basics right. That is for sure. Do's. Don'ts in terms of composition, what happens is, if you know, just end up making a lot of compositions on the guitar or piano, you can get restricted. So see other avenues. See, just maybe jamming over a backing track, you might come up with something. So what happens when there's a particular chord structure or chord pattern that happens, right? In a way, you
Yeah.
get restricted. Then they say na ki all the songs sound the same.
Mm.
Like, rather than a chord pattern, have a motif like melody motif, or have a riff where there's
Yeah.
no proper chords coming. So there's just a star and kind of a thing. Or like, for example, if I have to give you an example, the song Agar Main Kahun from Laksh. Ding, ding,
Mm.
ding, 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 ding. So that's a riff. So have something like that. Not in that genre, I'm just saying, like, and loop it and then come up with something. So you're not restricted to a particular chord structure and all that. And
But I have to say
try
that
to have,
opening riff, I really love listening to that. Like
yeah,
it like it, it, I have to be a bit of a, you know, I have to go on a little bit of a nostalgic trip over here if I have to say that. But these are the songs that make your heart grow so much fonder even with it. Like it's been 20 years since that riff came out. But the minute you hear that, your
yeah,
your immediate instinct is I want to hear the whole song. And you will go about also singing and
right.
humming along with it. But yeah, correct.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And this is what's happening, right? In today's time, there are a lot of great songs. Like people say, right, nowadays songs are not memorable and all that. It's not true that all songs are bad and all that.
Yeah.
There's so much of influx of content that there's too much for the brain to, comprehend and figure out ki, oh, what do I listen or what do I stick on to. Earlier, even the Lakshya ka time pe, there were like maybe I'm just giving a rough figure, maybe 10 albums a year. And then the accessibility, you'll have to either buy a CD or radio or,
A
TV.
cassette. Yeah.
So how many times you heard it also was, limited in a way. Now you're just bombarded everywhere, right? So the shelf life also goes, all of these things go. And then it's not, there's so many great songs that have come, like in today's time of social media also. And it's not like the song doesn't have substance, that's why you're not able to remember. There are a lot of, we are fighting for attention. You can't deny that.
That's
So
true.
yeah, that's why a lot of songs are getting simpler for the sole purpose that it just hits you. But then ऐसा नहीं कि अभी उसके हिसाब से तो आप उसी को cater करो. Eventually a song, if thoroughly believe in it, if it has good substance, it will pick up.
I think originality and individuality is the key. Uh, if I
Yeah,
have to.
yeah, yeah. Like originality for sure, because people love originals. Like, the generation is now hooked on to listening to originals. Like legit. So many youngsters I come across, they have Spotify and all that, and a lot of the top playlists are those independent playlists more than Bollywood. A lot of people are coming across, and in Bollywood also they listen to a lot of stuff, but they know a lot of independent artists also. So that is happening. So individuality will help you in, cutting through the noise. And so they will remember, Acha, okay, this is you.
Sid, if I have to ask you to pick, some of the producers or composers that you not only look up to, but you also feel that they're doing, considerably very good work also today in the Indian music industry, who would you immediately mention?
See, the people that I've, grown up listening to and studied a lot of their music, it's, I'll say, R.D. Burman, A.R. Rahman, Ilaiyaraaja, Shankar Jaikishan, Lakshmikant Pyarelal, then Nadeem Shravan, then you speak of Jatin Lalit, then Shankar Ehsaan Loy, Pritam Da, Vishal Shekhar, Sachin Jigar. Like, these are forever. I still look up to them with the thing, okay, what are they doing? You know, and people who, like, for example, Pritam Das philosophy, like people who have worked with them, and I've worked with them for a certain project. For like one of the vocal producers for Agale Lagja, he works actively with Pritam Da, and he told me, like, I'm always curious if anyone who's worked with my idols, I'll ask them, okay, what is it they do? And like he gave me a nugget, like he said that he is always onto the habit of making the song better. He has a philosophy that I'll make every song evergreen, that it stays. And if you look at it, all of Pritam's songs, they are evergreen in a certain way.
Yeah, yeah.
So and how does that happen? Like till the end, he's refining the song, be it through production, melody, and all that. And it just gets better, it just grows. So
Yes.
that really helps. And in contemporary, for sure, like, Sachin Jigar are nailing it at this moment. Um, I love Jasleen work. Jasleen work, melodies are really great.
And
Um,
Jaslyn really put out a very sweet shout out for Galilagja,
yeah,
didn't
that,
she?
that was really, she quite, is inspiring, and she's quite, good in communicating a lot of her ideas and, bringing out to it. That's really great. Then one of my college seniors, Shreyas Puranik, he's, doing really great right now, and I'm really happy, like, he's broken out and finally nailing it that way. Then in South, I really nowadays I'm enjoying a lot of Thaman S and Vijay Basru's work. And Anirudh, of
Vijay,
course, yeah, for sure.
Vijay
Vijay
Basur or Ravi
Basrur,
Basur?
sorry, Ravi Basrur, my bad. Vijay Basrur is the ex.
I was, I was
Yeah,
also wondering.
yeah. But yeah,
No
Ravi
problem.
Basrur. And I mean, the scores are insane, yeah. If you look at from a
Oh,
background perspective, and even the songs, like the grandness, right? The grandness really helps. And obviously, Amit Trivedi, that's like I figured like Amit Trivedi was a person who blended independent sound with Bollywood, and he had his own voice.
yes.
And see,
Oh,
that
like
also
15 years. Like I mean, Dave D's album is easily 15 years ago, and look at the relevance it still holds. Or
exactly
even a
right.
song like
But
Iktara, which was it's 15 years back, October 2009. Here we
whoa,
are in
man.
2024, still listening to it, on our most very solemn moments.
Yeah, for sure. I was in the ninth standard in 2009.
I
But
remember second year of college.
that's what I'm saying. Like he believed in certain sounds. Then the collaborators also like Anurag Kashyap, if you look at it, like he has ideas that you might not think in the first instance. His vision coming with Amit Trivedi's vision and
Yeah,
blending in, and we got something like, and at the end of the day he believed in it, right? So that really matters. Like Lutera's album, the song Zinda, that's
yeah.
a soft rock song. You don't hear a lot of straightforward soft rock in Bollywood. So that you have to, all these artists I really adore.
So, Sid, a little before we wrap up this interview, I think it's only imperative that I urge you to let everyone know who's watching this that what, in your opinion, makes Aa Gale Lag Ja stand out? How has it turned out to be the song that people are loving?
Yeah, it's like खुद की तारीफ खुद करो ऐसा वाला सिनेरियो हो जाता है बट
नहीं नहीं हुए.
honestly I'm really glad and grateful people are loving it. That's one thing, and I'll have to genuinely thank Mr. Anshay Lal, who's curated this beautiful track. He had this vision. I had made this melody a year back, and then he had heard it, and then this year he just told me like, put out something independently. I want to curate something, which has its own independent voice, and yet it can be accepted in a way that the audience also likes it. So I was like, yeah, sure. So hats off to Anshay sir. He's the he brought everything together. Getting Shilpa, Lakshay, and then Anvita, and we all coming together and making this beautiful gem. And I think the right intent always works, and our whole intent was, okay, how can we make a good song, like and good song like something that will be pleasing to the ears, something that can have a recall value, and that's what we focused on. Maybe that's why the love is being showered, or I don't know. I'm yet to figure that out. When I'll figure that out, I shall ping you. But yeah, like I'm really happy, that it what the vision that I had, and I have to give it to Anshay sir because I had a vision over here. He like he got the best out of me and it went here legit. Because the thing is, this is what happened. What directors do, right? Some of the
Yeah.
great directors, what they do, they get out things from you, and then in that process, you also learn. So uh, this song was a quite a journey for me as a musician also, because I was very rigid at when I had started, when I made this last. I was very rigid. Okay, this is what it is. I'll just put it out. But then you understand. Okay, nee, you can build a song like I
Yeah.
said, right? Pritam Das process, not be satisfied. So that also helps. Like, yeah.
Well, here's hoping that you find a lot of visionary collaborators who help you in not bettering, who help you strengthen your
Hmm.
vision further as a producer, as a composer, and in general as an artist. But Sid, as we wrap up, I think it's only fitting to say that, like the title of the song suggests, I hope more and more people embrace your music, your journey as an artist, and more importantly, how you are as a person wherever you go, no matter what. Thank you so much, Sid, for taking the time out to speak to me on B's playlist. And interestingly, your episode number 75. So that's quite the milestone
Wow.
episode actually that we have done.
Diamond Jubilee, right?
Diamond Jubilee, yeah. But thank you
Superb.
so much, Sid, for doing this.
Thank
And
you so much, Vijay, for having me. Quite a pleasure, and it's really fun, to it's like you every day just working and suddenly something like this pops up. It's really fun to just share your experience and all that. I really love doing it.
I'm really glad. Thank you so much. And for our subscribers who are, and for our audiences who are watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope we can bring you more and more of your favorite artists and their journeys and their stories to you. Thank you so much for watching.